What's up, y'all? It's your girl Amanda, and we are back with another episode of Thompson and Stuff. So, it is almost 3:30 in the morning, and I know what y'all asking me, girl, why are you recording at 3:30 in the morning? Well, one, I can't sleep, and two, I gotta get this work done. You know what I mean? And I do want to open this episode by saying I am thinking about everybody affected by the storms. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, so in the tri state area, so Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, we've been hit with some major storms. So it's been raining on and off for the past maybe 3 to 4 days, right? And the first night was kind of rough. But the second time it was worse, and I ended up opening my Facebook and seeing people in Indiana, which is right next door to where I live. Um, a lot of damage. A lot of people's houses got messed up. Trees falling, power's going in and out. Some people in Chicago, they haven't had power in a few days. So just know that I am thinking about you all, and we're in this together. And I hope you guys, rebuild and have a comeback of a lifetime. So I am thinking of y'all. And two, y'all, I owe Starbucks an apology. Let me tell y'all why, because I couldn't wait to come and tell y'all this, right? So remember, I came on here a long time ago and I said I'm mad at Starbucks. Forget Starbucks, I like Dunkin' Donuts better. So I think it wasn't a $3 day. I just wanted to go to Starbucks, right? I didn't know what to get because I didn't really want a refresher, because I already had a refresher from Dunkin' Donuts probably earlier that day, but I wanted something like a dessert like drink. I wanted to drink something. I don't want to eat like something like cake or an ice cream. So I said, okay, let me see what Starbucks got. I don't know nothing about no cold foam. I don't know nothing about, 2 drops of mocha. I don't know nothing about that. My thing was I always liked the double chocolate chip frappuccino, but they kind of like took that off the menu last summer, right? So I'm like, forget Starbucks. I don't like nothing at Starbucks. Then I got introduced to the mocha cookie crumble frappuccino. Y'all tell me why that is the chocolate chip frappuccino, just rebranded in some fancy schmancy name that I don't really feel like remembering. It's really good. And I've actually had like 2 of them in 1 week. But I do apologize, Starbucks. I'm still a Dunkin' girly. Like, Dunkin' will always have my heart. Dunkin' is always number one. Starbucks is two. Three is Big B. And four, I'm waiting for Seven Brew. And Dutch Brothers will be five. And I'm waiting for them to open up around me. So, but yeah, that's my life update. So let's get into these stories because it's 3:30 in the morning. I want to go to bed. Anyway, congratulations to the New York Knicks. So just about a few hours ago, they won the NBA championship. And I was talking to my boyfriend, and we were talking about how, to celebrate, they were going to tear down the city, quote unquote. I don't understand that. Why would you tear down the city in order to like celebrate something? That never made sense to me. Like, here in Chicago, when like the Bulls won in the 90s, and then like 2016 when the Cubs won, it was like we celebrated, we cleaned up, we went home. I just wish New York could follow suit. But congratulations to them. I follow a lot of New York rappers on Instagram, and they're just, I mean, it's 4:30 in the morning over there. They're still up celebrating. People are still in the street going crazy. My cousin, she lives in New York as well, and she's like showing me photos and stuff. I'm like, "Oh my God, this is crazy. Y'all are just partying it up." I think they're gonna be partying all week. Today's Saturday. Tomorrow is Sunday. I hope, it's the Lord's Day. They can tame it a little bit, but after church, they'll go crazy. But congratulations to the Knicks. Um, I'm not a Knicks fan. I don't really watch basketball anymore. But I remember when I was like in 6th grade, because that's right around the time I started watching sports heavily. I remember the Knicks wasn't a great team. They were not a great team. Like they sucked. They never made the playoffs. So I guess whoever they have now is just a godsend to the team because when Stephon Marbury and Marty Collins and them when they were playing, I just don't ever remember seeing them in the playoffs. So congratulations to the New York Knicks. New York, please don't tear down your beautiful city. I mean, your food sucks, but don't tear down your beautiful city. So congratulations to them. Moving on, Tyra Banks is suing Netflix. Y'all heard that right. Tyra Banks is suing Netflix. Well, Amanda, why is Tyra Banks suing Netflix? Well, people, I will tell you. In layman terms, Tyra did not like the way she was portrayed in the documentary, if you will. Now, I watched that documentary. I enjoyed the documentary as a viewer. I enjoyed what I saw. I did not enjoy what I heard. It was well produced. It was on Netflix, a big platform. But I think that this judge, whoever judge gets it, they're going to throw this lawsuit out. And why would they do such a thing, Amanda? Well, I'm glad you asked, person. Because, yes, Tyra was on that documentary. I don't like how I was portrayed. Tyra, the judge is going to look at the full documentary. She's going to look at, he or she, I should say, or they are going to look at the people's different stories. It was probably a lot of different stories from each cycle. And some of them stories, I'm sure, are 90% not edited. And they're probably going to side with those people. People had an opportunity to go on a big platform and tell what happened to them on this very popular show that a lot of people watched in the 2000s. They're going to see that, these ladies got to tell their story. And then there's your end where you're just like, you're oblivious to everything. These women are telling their hardcore heartbreaks and aches and pains and stuff. And you're just sitting here like, I don't remember that happening. That didn't happen. It was this way, not that way. That judge is going to throw out that lawsuit. Girl, you did that. You did that. So, Tyra, girl, I don't see why you're suing. You need to take that to the chin and move on. Like, when I saw that headline flash across my screen, I found out on TMZ. I just started shaking my head. What was the reason? You did what you did, and you trying to destroy these women's lives even more, like you did on the show. The one lady who, quote unquote, cheated on her boyfriend, her life was destroyed because she really loved that man. The lady who was posing with the male model who kind of was making her uncomfortable, and you didn't defend her. You see how, but since she's only doing this because she wants to make herself look like the victim, but the real victim was those young ladies on the show. Tyra just wants to clean it up. Girl, gone. No. That judge is gonna throw out that lawsuit and tell Tyra to her face, you somewhat ruined those women's lives. So please get out of my courtroom. I don't like it one bit. And if Tyra knows what's best, and if she know what she did, she better throw out that lawsuit before, she gets real embarrassed. I'm just saying. Just saying. And that's all I'm gonna say about it. Like, that judge is gonna throw out that lawsuit and she gonna get embarrassed. She really is gonna get embarrassed. So, Daz and Snoop. If you guys don't know, Daz Dillinger, famous producer, produced for DJ Quick, kind of Corrupt, Snoop, all that, is beefing with his cousin Snoop Dogg. Now, they kind of kept the beef low key, right? And then all of a sudden, Daz goes on Instagram and he claims that, Snoop has more illegitimate kids than his wife knows. And then he started bringing in his wife, Boss Lady, and his son. I forgot his name, but he goes by Calvin Loves on Instagram. It makes me sad because of how close Snoop and Daz used to be. There was like an old video on Calvin's, I'm just gonna call him Calvin, I don't know his real name, Calvin's Instagram, where Snoop was on MTV with, I think his name was John Norris, and Daz was right in the front seat with John, and there he was as a baby, Calvin, and who was sitting in the front seat? That's right, Daz Dillinger. And it's just disrespectful. I hate how that, turns out because y'all were so close and you bring in his wife and all that stuff. It's just disrespectful. And y'all, I'm really close to unfollowing Daz Dillinger. And I'm a huge, huge Daz Dillinger fan. I love him in Crap. I love the Dog Pound. One of my favorite songs is I Love, featuring him, Trick Daddy, and Scarface. But I'm so close to unfollowing this man. I hate seeing the beef. I hate them doing this for blows. It's just sad and it really breaks my heart. And not everything should be brought to the internet. If you beefing with somebody in your family, leave that to for us to like sit and wonder but not really dive into it. You know what I mean? I hate it. I just hope they like get it together. So that's all I'm gonna say on that because I don't want to get involved. And then he pulls me into it. Well, what did I do? I didn't say nothing about it. But yeah, um, moving on from that, they saying that the Chicago Bears is moving forward with going to Hammond. Now, my job, I read on social media, I think it was like Instagram or something. They said that there is no plans for a stadium in Hammond. Like there's no like set, guess like a layout of the stadium or something. I'm gonna say this, and I mean, the only upside for this happening is that if the Steelers come to town, I wouldn't have to drive far to go see the Steelers play the Bears. That's the only thing I would support, right? But I don't like the idea, and this experience kind of sealed the deal for me. So I live probably 20 to 25 minutes away from the quote unquote site that they want to build the Bears stadium at in Hammond, right? I'm driving into Hammond near Whiting. So there's Hammond, East Chicago, Whiting. They're all right next to each other, but they're still. So that day, it was a beautiful day. Sunny, the weather was nice, all that stuff. I'm driving deeper into Hammond near Whiting, near the park where they're quote unquote going to have the stadium. It got cold. It got cloudy. It didn't rain, but it just got cold and cloudy, and it smelled bad. Y'all, guess what's over there? It's the oil refineries and the factories and stuff polluting the air with that crap. And they want to put the bears over there. I'm not for that because, one day the people are happy to go to the Bears game. Oh, we're at the Bears game. This is great. Whatever. Probably 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 years from now, they're having lung issues or something because they had to inhale that that fume and that stink. The BP refineries over there. Just all it just looks really scary to me. I don't like driving over there because I had a nightmare one time. I'm walking across the bridge, right? And underneath is obviously a body of water. I don't know what city or state I was in, but there was underneath a body of water, and then on the other side was factories, oil refineries, and stuff. And the poison was getting into the water, and here I am walking across the bridge, and the water gets on me to a point it gets on my skin and stuff, and it, burns me or whatever. Like, that's my biggest fear. And I think they should have moved to Arlington Heights, even though I always said it would have been really tight. It would have made more sense. I don't want nothing to happen to anybody with that stuff floating around in the air. Mind y'all, I grew up 10 minutes from Hammond, 15 minutes from those refineries and factories. And if something leaks or something, it smells bad. Like, it smells like butt. So I'm not for this. Like, if you're from Hammond or Whiting or whatever, and you drive past there, it just gives me nightmares. Like, you don't know what's lurking around in there, and it could be like safe and sealed tight and all that stuff. It scares me, and I don't want the bears over there. And I don't think, again, they don't even, I don't know. They probably changed a lot, but they don't really sell alcohol on Sundays. And what's on Sundays? Bears games or Thursdays. I think they would do better on Thursdays or Monday or Thursday, but not Sunday. But yeah, I'm thinking more environmentally reasons. Even though Wolf Lake Park is a really nice park, a lot of like people like Akon and Nelly, Limp Bizkit, they were over there, but it's still just too close to like the factories and oil refineries. I don't like that. I don't like that. And I don't know like if people would consider that. But yeah, they're gonna move it over to the Hammond. I just hope JB Pritzker like delivers a last minute Hail Mary or something to bring it over there. But I don't want it over there. Moving on from that, Lena the Plug and Adam 22. Now, I've seen some of their work. Well, how did you see some of their work? All right, so there's this thing called X, formerly known as Twitter, and these days, X, formerly known as Twitter, they're not very conservative. And they don't show conservative things. So sometimes, I see Lena and I see Adam doing what God gave our private parts to do. And they seem like a cool couple to go over their house and have a beer with, but go back home afterwards. And Adam 22, I occasionally watch No Chaser interviews. I remember when he interviewed Aaron Carter. I remember when he interviewed, what was that? I think it was Blueface or Krishan. Somebody. I remember that. And I first saw the headline, oh, Adam 22 and Lena the Plug, they're divorcing. Well, I said, what a shame. They seem like a solid couple because they have threesomes and stuff. So if you, to me, have threesomes and there's no like, well, it is, but like maybe it's my naive thinking. They just seem like a solid couple. They, wouldn't cheat on each other, blah, blah, blah. I said, well, why are they divorcing? And then I thought, these people are independent contractors or they have their own businesses and stuff. Maybe they're divorcing for like medical bill reasons and, after everything clears up, they'll get remarried. I don't know. I've heard those stories before. And I'm like, man, what happened to their marriage? Then I, put my phone down and shrugged, walked away. And the next day it said it was an imposter that's filed for divorce. Now, I have a question. Now, I've never been married, so obviously I've never been divorced. How can an imposter go and file for divorce on someone else's behalf? Because don't you need like a lawyer and anytime you walk into like a courthouse, federal, municipal, whatever, don't you need like some sort of ID? That just did not make any sense to me. So part of me now thinks like they probably did kind of file, but then they came to their senses because there is no way. I've never heard of somebody going to file for divorce as an imposter. That's just like the dumbest thing I've heard in a long time. So hopefully they'll clear that up. And Adam 22 and Lena, they just seem too solid for that. So I was like, no, that can't be real. Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson retires from the NFL. I'm happy. I'm happy that Russell Wilson retired from the NFL. Y'all want to know why? Because Russell Wilson was supposed to extend his contract with the Pittsburgh Steelers and he didn't. So, you know what? Russell Wilson, you can't play for nobody else. And you didn't really do a good job with the New York Giants. You deserve to stay with the Steelers and get us to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl. But now we're stuck with Aaron Rodgers. I don't want to be stuck with Aaron Rodgers. Now, I know what y'all thinking. Why don't you like Aaron Rodgers? Aaron Rodgers is a strange character, okay? I think he voted for Trump. He says he's married. We've never seen his wife. Okay, now I understand, keeping your wife private and stuff. But hell, there's like NFL charity balls and ESPY awards that they bring their spouses to. Does she not leave the house? Like, what is going on here? Like, does she go to Costco? What's her name? Her real name. I mean, it's not like we gonna go on Facebook and look her up. She probably ain't got no social media. But Russell Wilson, you should have stayed with the Steelers, but now we're stuck with this strange man. But I think now he's gonna have a lot of more time to be with Sierra, and I would not be surprised if she gets pregnant one more time. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. He really loves her and she really loves him. And they had a cute couple. And they had a really cute wedding too. They had it at like a castle over in the UK. So, but congratulations to you, Russell. I feel like he has not been playing that long. And is it me or y'all? These NFL players' careers are getting like shorter and shorter. Like there's players out there that retired after 8 years. There's players that retired after 5 years. But at the same time, I really do get it because, playing football is like a harsh on the body sport. Let's see. Russell Wilson draft year. So Russell, oh, okay. So yeah, Russell played a good length. He was drafted by the Seahawks in the 2012 NFL draft. In 2012, I was 17. I'll be 32 in February. That's a great amount of length. He played for mostly the Seattle Seahawks, and then he got traded. He went to the Steelers. He didn't stay with us very long. Yes, I'm still salty about that. Um, but yeah, he had a great career. 14 years is good enough. Don't be like Tom Brady. Stay for 20 years and then go out and try to break his bones again, and then your wife leaves you and up. But okay, that's none of my business. But still, 14 years is great. So congratulations to him. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Sierra turned out pregnant again, which would be so cute. They have that great looking family, honestly. So congratulations, Russell. Maybe you should come and coach the Steelers. I just can't trust this guy, Mike McCartney. I don't, I, oh, I just have to give him a chance, right? I'll give him a chance. One chance. He's got to prove himself on the preseason. I don't know nothing about this guy. All I know is that he was associated with the Dallas Cowboys, and that makes me very nervous. Just saying. Anyway, moving on from that, the BET board. So the board over at BET, Black Entertainment Television. So they have new members. And the most notable ones I want to talk about, Bob Johnson, Queen Latifah, and LL Cool J. So Bob Johnson, if that name sounds familiar, he actually founded BET and he sold it to Viacom. Long story short. Now, I know Bob Johnson is a Trump supporter. I don't know why he's a Trump supporter, but he's a Trump supporter. But Bob Johnson, he was kind of involved in the golden years of BET, right? And I think that if Bob Johnson has the same intellect as 30 or 40 years ago, he would bring ideas to make BET golden again. I remember when I was a little girl, they didn't play Babe. Well, they did when I was like 12. But when I was like 8, 9, maybe 7, 8, 9, 10, early 2000s, 2000, 2001, they would play movies that weren't like super famous. Like they would be TV movies that were still good. 106 in Park, Cedar's World, what else? Rap City, The Basement. Like, I think that was when Bob Johnson's era was going on. Those shows. Now, again, I understand, Donald Trump supporter, blah, blah, blah. I just, maybe I shouldn't have hope for that man, but that's what I remember growing up when Bob was running the show. He sold off Viacom, like, probably '05, '06 or something. So I would appreciate that if he did that, if, he could do that. Queen Latifah. I agree with having Queen Latifah. You guys gotta also remember Queen Latifah is a legendary rapper, so she can probably help with bringing hip hop to the forefront on BET again. She's an actress. Probably do like an Equalizer spinoff or something. The Last Holiday sequel. I really like that movie. Um, Probably bring back, Living Single. Like, she has so many avenues that I think she can do. And I do enjoy that. LL Cool J, same as Queen Latifah, an actor, a hip hop artist. He could probably bring, something to honor hip hop. Probably, spruce up the hip hop honor awards. Just they've all the two members, Queen Latifah and LL Cool J, they owe their not their full career to BET, but BET did help them out a lot. So I just can't wait for them to like bring ideas for the newer generation because they've been on TV shows for the newer generation. I can't wait for that. Bob Johnson, we'll see. But yeah, I like the fact that they actually have musicians and hip hop stars on the board. So I can't wait to see how that will go. I do want to say rest in peace. We got three rest in pieces. The first one is Stacey King. So rest in peace to Stacey. Now in Chicago, we have a channel. I don't know if it still exists. I haven't had cable since like I graduated high school. But at one point, I was a fan of the Chicago Bulls. Why? Because they drafted Derrick Rose number one for the 2007 NBA draft. 2007, 2008, I don't really remember, and I'm not going to sit and Google it. It was around middle school. And they drafted this guy named Derrick Rose from Simeon High School who went to school in Memphis. Religiously, every time there was a game on TV, it didn't matter if it was on Comcast Sportsnet, WGN, ABC, I wouldn't say any ESPN because the NBA wasn't on NBC at the time. I watched it. When it was on Comcast Sportsnet, which I don't know if it's still called that in 2026, there were four on-air personalities I will watch. Neil Funk, Norm Van Leer, Johnny Red Kerr, Stacey King, and Kendall Gill. For years, and maybe until Derrick Rose left the Bulls, I will watch them. And Neil Funk, he's still alive. Rest in peace. Norm Van Leer. Rest in peace. Johnny Red Kerr. Rest in peace, Stacey King. Now, you guys know I do this, and I'm not a heavy sports podcast, right? I talk about it, maybe talk about a sprinkle of it. But honestly, Stacey King was literally one of my favorite sports commentators to watch. Not only was he like a part of the sports commentating world for like years, he also played for the Bulls. He was drafted in 1989. I always thought he was from Chicago. He's not from Chicago, but he's been here for years. But Stacey was just always entertaining to hear because I never watched him on TV. I mean, he won the championship with the Bulls in the late 90s. I was a little kid, but I remember Stacey as the commentator. And it broke my heart when I heard he passed away. I heard he had a really bad fall at his home. And yeah, I'm gonna miss seeing Stacy. And he would like post stuff on Instagram I would see from time to time. But Stacy is a part of, I have a lot of on-air heroes, and Stacy King was definitely one of them. So, um, I rest in peace to him. That's still a shock to me. Next, rest in peace to Peebo Bryson, who is a legendary R&B singer. My favorite, now I love Feel the Fire, the Stephanie Mills and the um, Tinny Pendergrass version, but I did also grow up listening to the Peebo Bryson version as well. So rest in peace to him. He had a stroke, and then he ended up passing away. Legendary singer. He also sang, if you're a Disney adult like I am, A Whole New World for Aladdin, which I love to listen to from time to time when I watch Aladdin. So rest in peace to him. And lastly, this one's local. So rest in peace to Spencer Leak Jr. So if you guys don't know who Spencer Leak is, if you're not from Chicago, Spencer Leak is like a funeral director, and he runs the Leak and Sons funeral homes. If you guys watch Jesse Jackson's funeral, he does a lot of the local funerals for like the locals. Um, he did my auntie's funeral too. I remember him being at her funeral. He was like tucked away, and he knew my cousin, but I didn't like get to formally meet him. But he did my auntie's funeral too, and he was just like big a big, I want to say like a community, not a star, but like he was really into the community and helping people. And I didn't know too much about him until like after he passed away, like how he helped families who couldn't really afford to bury their loved ones, and just all that wonderful things you've done for the community. It just broke my heart. And I'd see him on Facebook from time to time too, but yeah, he was a good guy, and he ran a respectable business. So now his son is the next generation, so I'm not sure if he's gonna take over the business, but he was a really good man and ran a very respectable business. So rest in peace to him. And moving on from that, 2026, y'all, I honestly think is a year of movies. Now, I talked about the Michael movie, right? So I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I saw the Michael movie twice. And shout out to April, my best friend. She tried to get me to see it for a third time. I'm like, no, no, I'm good. Thank you. But no, it's a good movie, and you can see it as much times as you want. Two is my limit. But Michael was good. It has actually surpassed $1 billion. It's actually surpassed Bohemian Rhapsody. It's now the number one music biopic in Musical Rhapsody. The story of, I guess, Queen is number two. But I also went to go see I Love Boosters movie, right? So it's the Boots Riley film. And let me tell you, I am a new Boots Riley fan. And I Boots Riley is only known for one other film. And y'all know what that film is? I'm sorry to bother you. I actually did see that movie a long time ago. And I used to work in a call center. Well, long time ago, my first job outside of college was a call center, and they worked us to the roof. Like, it was similar to what the guy was going through in sorry to bother you, but I forgot how like animated and stuff that Boots Riley can make his movies. And he brought that animation creativity into the I Love Boosters film, starring Kiki Palmer, Taylor Page, and another young lady. I didn't catch her name, but it was really, really good. Also, I went to see Scary Movie 6. Now, a lot of people on the internet, they're saying, oh, Scary Movie 6 is not that good, blah, 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 blah. First of all, some of the people I knew, some of them are about the same age as me. I'm going to respect that as their opinion. To me, it was good. And to the other people that said it sucked, They probably were born after 2002 and they didn't see the first two scary movies and how much they drew the line on those movies. I enjoyed it. Um, so as y'all know, I went to the AMC theater to see it, and I didn't go on Friday. AMC theaters, they actually have like the advanced screening, so I went on Thursday. Not a lot of people in the theaters. Perfect. And yeah, they brought back like, and I know I'm getting old because in the first scary movie in 2000, they were teenagers. They were in high school. In this one, Brenda and Shorty, no, I'm sorry, not Shorty, Brenda and Ray, they have kids. Shorty's still stuck in high school. So I guess they really did follow suit and fast forwarded the timeline for the different characters' lives, and then Cindy had kids and all that stuff. Man, I remember they were those characters high school to having kids. Crazy. But I really did enjoy it because I grew up watching Scary Movie. Like, Scary Movie came out, I was like 5, so 2000. I ain't had no business watching Scary Movie at that age. And then Scary Movie 1, 2 came out in '01. I was 6. Now, mind you, I didn't go to movie theaters to see these movies. I had too much freedom in my childhood. I watched it at my grandmother's house. So, and then 3, 4, 5. I remember seeing 3 in theaters with my cousin, but 4 and 5 I didn't care too much for. But it did very well in the box office. And people were like, it's not going to do well. It's not going to do well. Well, apparently people still like parody and comedy, and it's doing very well. So, yeah. Now we need 7. Maybe we should do like 10, up to 10, and the Wayans brothers should do all of them. That's what I would like because the Wayans brothers, they really did a good job. 3, 4, and 5 without the Wayans brothers, thumbs down. Bleh. No. So yeah, I don't know what else is. Oh, there's gonna be a movie about Anthony Bourdain coming out. It's called Tony. That looked really good. Let me see what else. Because when I went to go see Michael twice, they showed the same previews, which kind of annoyed me. But now that I went to go see a different movie, they showed some different previews. Oh, Jackass has a movie coming out. I don't know if I want to go see that because I grew up watching Jackass. One Night Only, and it's this movie. It's about like that one night that it's cool to be single or whatever. Very weird background on that. And yeah, those movies are coming out. So I might spend the summer in the movie theaters. I don't mind that at all. So yeah, moving on from that. Y'all know every time I jump on this microphone, I gotta talk about Sean Puffy Combs, right? Well, Diddy is involved, but not directly, if that makes sense. So, there is a Diddy sex tape that came out, and I hate to admit this, and I'm probably gonna throw up after I say this. It was on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it, and I skimmed through it so you wouldn't have to. Um, Again, that X, that Twitter has some non-conservative things on there. And so it was Daphne Joy and the escort, right? Doing, you know. Now, it wasn't Diddy doing any quote unquote acts. Diddy didn't come in till the end. And honestly, it felt like remember the Tyson fight on Netflix where Netflix had a malfunction and then it came back to the screen and Tyson's butt was on the screen? That's what it felt like. Diddy, I saw Diddy naked. I could feel the vomit form in my stomach, trust me. Diddy was bunky butt naked. And it looked weird. His butt looked weird. Maybe because he worked. Like, before he went to jail, I remember Diddy having a little meat on his bones, but his butt just looks weird. Like it looks weird, you know? And I'm like, I just ate lunch. Oh, I don't want to see that. But yeah, it's on. I don't know if it's on Twitter. And if you don't want to see it, you shouldn't. You shouldn't at all. But it has Daphne Joy. Daphne Joy is the baby mama of 50 Cent. Now that this sex tape is out or whatever, and people know about it, what angers me is Daphne Joy is out here. She's not caring that a sex tape of her being naked and doing God knows what is out. She doesn't have a care in the world. She's on social media twerking and shaking her butt and laying it low and spreading it wide or whatever. I'm disappointed. I'm very disappointed. I think Daphne should be embarrassed that this is out. Not, having a good time, laying it low, spread because she has a child. Now, if she was child free, I wouldn't be saying these comments, but she has a child. And the internet is permanent. We've been hearing that since like the early 2000s. The internet is permanent. You can't delete anything. You know, why is she not caring about this tape being out? Why is she being so nonchalant? Why is she doing interviews with DJ Academics, laughing and kikiing? Girl, go to your lawyer and sue whoever leaked this. No, I don't understand that. And I see why everyday Cassie moved out of the United States. Because she wants to live a peaceful life. This Diddy trial has brought some ruckus to her heart and all that stuff. And I understand. She wants to have normalcy for her and her family. Now, where did Cassie go? We don't know. And I feel like we should know to protect her, her safety, her mental health, and let her live a normal life. Let her children grow up normal. I get it, Cassie. I really do. Because anything regarding Diddy, ever since he went to jail, it's just been like an embarrassment. It's just been an embarrassment. And I understand she doesn't want no parts to be in that circus. And moving on, last story, the JayZ performance. I didn't see the full performance. I saw somebody was cool enough to record it from their phone and they uploaded it to YouTube, so it wasn't like official footage. But I had something to do, so I didn't watch the full show. And it was at the Roots picnic with Questlove and them. And honestly, I did see JayZ performing. Not performing, but rehearsing, right? Somebody leaked some footage on Instagram. JayZ was in rehearsal. And I was worried about him. I was very worried about him because of his breathing. He would be like, like, oh my God, is he okay? Is he asthmatic? Like, does he need a glass of water? I also have to remember that JayZ is not that young JayZ driving Bentleys in the music videos in the 90s. This man is almost 60 years old, if not 60 years old. But he did really good and he looked good. He actually combed out those locks. I don't know what the real name is, but he combed them out because he looked crazy. And I think J. Cole should follow suit because he kind of looks crazy too with him. But yeah, he looked really good. He looked at least like he could be from the not Big Pimpin' video, probably the 99 Problems video. So we'll go a little into the 2000s. He looked great. He wore like an all black outfit with black Timberlands. And he brought out artists like Beanie Siegel, Young Guns, Freeway. Just taking me back to my childhood. I am so old. But, typical hip hop fashion. He did sneak a diss to Damon Dash. I don't know why in Damon Dash's world this man lives rent free. I mean, of course, they had like a big, record label and they had a great run. But once it dissolves, bro, let it go. Worry about fixing up your life and not losing homes to foreclosure and having to pay Rachel Roy alimony. This man went on the Art of Dialogue and he was like, Jay's breath stink. It smelled like doo-doo and cinnamon. And I'm like, JayZ is a trillionaire, billionaire, gazillionaire, and all you can do is just sit and say his breath stinks. I'm not understanding. That man has issues, even on TV, yelling and fussing and stuff. Like I don't get it. But yeah, y'all, that's another podcast, and I'm tired. It's 4:11 in the morning. I gotta go to bed. So I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.